All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody to Returners Hideout number 339 in 3 parts. We are back. It is Wednesday, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. Also joined once again in the booth by Mr. Brett. Brett, what's going on?
Hello, glad to be back. Thanks for having me back. I guess I did good enough the first time, eh?
Yeah, well, you passed the vibes check, which is important enough. So, hey man, I'm always happy to have some people come by. You shot me a message this morning. Would you mind if I jumped in? Not at all. So remember, folks at home, it could be you. So feel free if you're ever trying to brush up on your chops. Every once in a while, I'm happy to have somebody stop by and join me on the ones and twos. So let's go ahead and jump in. I kind of started these guys a little early, so they're like off to the races. They may even be like damn near 10 minutes into a game. Yeah. So. Sorry about the delay today, guys. I got all kinds of crap going on. Trying to juggle too many balls, but we're here. I'm dedicated to you for the next 2 hours and change. So we'll see how that goes. Brett, I didn't get a chance even to look over the pairings. Do you have any table you're particularly interested in going to, or should we just start clicking around here?
Let's just click around. Let's go for it.
All right. Table 3 is at the top of my list for some reason, so that's what I'm clicking.
All right. Nice middle table here. Table 3 of 5.
Yeah, we've got 10 gamers today. I see. Thank you very much, by the way, Mr. Greg, for the sub. I see I missed that. You say that you're on Jank today. That's excellent. We'll have to make sure we stop by. Okay, it looks like I am witnessing what may be the very end of a
Whoa, yeah.
Turbo Bosch game. Let's get this one up on the screen quickly for you guys. I'm so sorry about getting this started late, guys, and that we're late into this first round here.
That's alright. Even if this match is almost over, I'm sure there are others that are going deep.
Oh, yeah, we got plenty to see. So, it looks like this is Ice Wind Retainers. It continues to be... Oh, yeah, this game's over. Also, they left the game. So, we can just talk about this one quickly. Yeah, I think they just scooped. Just quickly to talk about these two decks. So, Turbo Bosch is one we've seen around, but I haven't seen as much of it in, like, the weekly. We've seen it here and there, kind of in Swiss and some of these bigger events. I think one of them did pretty well at the last Materia Cup, but on the other side of the table we've got Ice Wind, which now is credited for winning 2 of those events, and actually is starting to pick up wins at different tournament levels. There's some LQs where people are seeing success with this deck. We're seeing, I think Hunter just won an event with this deck over in Japan. So Ice Wind Crystals is here to stay, baby. I mean, this is a deck a lot of people are taking a liking to.
Yeah, I mean, topped 2 Materia Cups now, so...
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because the first cup was just like a relatively local guy from out in the Yorktown scene in Virginia was like, yeah, I just love Final Fantasy VII characters. They finally made Final Fantasy VII characters that do crystals, so I don't know, I figured I'd try crystals out. It's like, and it's just become this staple in the Opus 26 meta.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen more sort of riffs on it. I mean, obviously, very strong deck, but, there was crystal stuff and fire with FF7. And,
oh, yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't seen a lot more variants kind of perform well, but, yeah,
well,
this
I will say this
version is doing great.
I don't see a lot of people trying other... Like, there are other variants. I don't see a lot of them seeing player getting tried out, but I think eventually another one of them will, like, surface. Again, I think... People just love to be told what to do or told what's good. So
yeah, right.
They see that this deck does well, someone tells them, this is a Crystals deck that is good. You don't have to do any guessing, you don't have to do any testing. Oh, it just like skipped. I don't know what just happened to the music. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, you don't have to do any of the work. Like, we did it for you. Just play this, it will be good enough, right? So people are like, oh, I would like to try Crystals. I don't want to do any of the work. Yeah, let me fire that up. And it makes sense. But I think if anybody's going to crack it, it's Irving Diaz. He was at California, he didn't do so hot, so maybe not. But he is always playing, last set especially, he was playing every single crystal combo, like, under the sun. So I know that he's out there tinkering and toggling. Let's go ahead and switch tables off of 3. Yeah, these guys saying, I got here right when they finished. Oh, and I've got a hydrate there. Let me find... I got a water, Barracus. I got a water somewhere right before we started. Oh, I may... You know what? I think I left it right on the counter. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get my water.
No, I don't have the boss man here to tell me what table to go to, but I came prepared with my water this time. Actually, we were talking about Father's Day a little bit before the stream, and I got to celebrate Father's Day this past weekend because I'm going to be busy this coming one. My wife got me a nice, lovely water bottle. So that's where my ice cold water is coming from today. But definitely got to get Crunk. I agree. We'll get the double hydrate. What else is going on in the chat here? Tuned in right after we finished up. Oh yeah, we did. After 10,000 years I'm free, it's time to IQ Jack. Voice kills chaos. Yeah, the Turbo Bosch is pretty interesting. I feel like maybe kind of like like people say, Wool 7, like if it doesn't pop off, it doesn't pop off. I've been interested in kind of trying to throw together the more traditional FF12 deck without, the Raijin and Fujin and everything. I'm not a huge... I guess it's sacrilege to say while Snugs is away. I'm not a huge FF12 fan. I like the game. I like the characters.
I don't give a shit about Final Fantasy 12.
I thought you were a 12 guy.
No. Final Fantasy 12, hold on, let's just get this straight for the record, is a horrible game. Alright, we can continue. No.
You were giving me sass one day for one of the games I didn't like. I was like,
I don't know, maybe. Not at all, though. 12 was the first time in my life. 12 was the Final Fantasy where I realized that it's possible for them to not all be good.
Right.
Do you know what that felt like? That was horrible. I was like, wait. Maybe this is bad.
I liked it well enough. I just on the replay, and I played the Zodiac Age 1 not that long ago, and it I don't know, the story kind of underwhelmed me.
When I bought the Zodiac Age, I don't know what I was doing, brother. I was gaslighting myself. Like, hey, I know that you've had this really strong opinion about Final Fantasy 12 and no reason at all to ever change it, but like, I don't know, they remastered it. And then I bought it, and then I played it for like 5 hours, and I was like, this game is fucking horrible. And then I stopped. Even on 4x speed or whatever, it's insufferable to just like walk around. I was like, I don't know why I did this. So, yeah, Final Fantasy 12 is not good, is my opinion about Final Fantasy 12. They never made a good Final Fantasy RPG again after 10. I mean, they made good MMOs, but they don't know how to make a Final Fantasy game anymore. Anyway. We're watching the Final Fantasy TCG.
Which table did you jump to here?
I am on table... I could tell you. It's got Final Max and I'm Radar, so probably 2. I think it was table 2.
I do like what I'm seeing. I'm not even in the table yet, but I am watching the stream, and seeing Final Fantasy 9 is warming my heart.
I see Kurt is on the FF9 Fire Water, dude.
Dude, let's do that all day.
You still love me even when I'm wrong? Thankfully, I'm not wrong very often, huh? Let's see, we got Brian and Kurt. So, boop, boop.
So far we've got a Zidane. We got kind of the players out here. Vivi, Steiner, and Zidane on the board.
Dude, so this Steiner is like the guy holding it all together. I also love how he has both he's wielding Excalibur and he has like an active like Spellblade thing going on. Like, it's just really cool that it is so many different little nods to the Final Fantasy IX specific references in these stained glass cards, you know? It's even cool because look at Steiner and Vivi are actually facing each other, just like they do if you ever use a magic sword in the game. So Vivi is literally, in the art, he is literally enchanting Steiner's sword with fire. That's pretty cool that they link up like that.
But unfortunately, Steiner is no more. Yeah.
Yeah, Steiner is, he protects all of the rest of the guys, but he does not have protection himself unless you use Alert. So the S ability does give him that same protection, but the only protection that he's giving to everybody is abilities. And we actually just cooked him with a summon there. Garnet, in this set that you're usually looking to play with all these guys, I mean, she's certainly in here at a 3-of. Garnet actually protects your guys from summons. So there's like a cute little thing you can set up there when Garnet and Steiner are together that just makes it really annoying to interact with these guys for your opponent. A Hydrate coming up for you, brother.
Oop, more chug-a-lug.
That's right. I'm telling you, I literally, like, these guys make me drink more water than anything else, which is good. At least on one day a week, I get the right amount of water. That's why I think I said it last week or 2 weeks ago. I was like, I need to get you guys, like, I need a way for people to redeem hydrate so it goes to my phone, like, randomly during, like, just all the time. Like, well, I guess I have to go exercise or go do this thing that's good for me because you guys paid for it, you know? Obligation is how you're gonna get me to go do that kind of stuff.
Let's see what we got. What, Brian's on the other side of the field, right? So he spent his last turn just killing Steiner, so interested to see what he's going to do because he's still kind of getting hit in the face right now.
So he says, I'm very confused. Chess says, I'm very confused. Brian is here and I see no category 4.
Hey, he's on a 13 deck today.
It is all 13, it looks like. And I'll tell you what, I have seen a like completely rainbow 13 deck one other time before. It was being played by one of the guys from down in Florida, by one of Irving's locals. And it was like, it was doing such disgusting, crazy hope loop things with like the legend forward hope. And it was setting up like 4 colors for warrior, like 4-color wall really fast, and doing all kinds of like just nutso rainbow good stuff things. It was so crazy that my roommate like immediately came home and he's like, I have to build that rainbow 13 deck. And he was playing it for like a week or two, but it was just very complicated. And I think we were getting ready for Nats at the time, so it just like did not have. Yeah, see, there's a 4-color wall. Yeah, didn't have the time to like sort it out. But there was something very real there, because there's like the legend hope that keeps returning to your hand at the end of every turn. You can use him to set up all the weird colors, and kind of you're off to the races, you know.
It looks like Brian's been sort of picking away at the forwards. I mean, it makes sense. You got to get that Vivi off because he was, I mean, primed to 9K. I think Vivi does a 9K, right? To any forward that got dropped. So.
Yeah, you can't just leave that guy on the table. It's funny. It is. I know that he is not at all like the Magic card, but it is funny how there's a few like tiny little parallels there, right? Like he does like he has like a fire water mana cost here too, right? Like tiny little things, but yeah, I think this Vivi every turn he just turns sideways to kill your best guy, right? For 2 CP basically. So you got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Oh, Lightning is doing the thing here. She's attacking, bringing in Sarah for the party attack.
So we've only got 2 forwards, so Sarah's not at her full potential, but she's definitely still gonna do some damage. I think we're gonna break the forward with her, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we break the Zidane. Ba-ding! Sazi X. Feels pretty good to hit. If you're Kurt, feels pretty bad when you're Brian on 6 damage, praying. And the second damage is a Vivi. Oh my god. Wow, how about this Vivi in this Final Fantasy IX deck is very interesting.
Yeah.
I guess because you have, doesn't the Garnet plays a 4-drop, right? So I guess it's like another good card that she can, or Steiner plays a 4-drop, sorry. It's another good card that he can bring in that gets you a card back to your hand. Is kind of cool. And it is deal with 4,000 damage for each job Black Mage you control. And we've got like a cheeky Palom Black Mage backup out here. So like there's actually some there's like a minor Black Mage synergy through line here on this FF9 deck, which I'm kind of into rather.
And it looks like with the VV EX he pulled back Black Waltz 3.
Mm-hmm. Of course, all 3 of those guys fitting both of the bills for being a Black Mage and for being a Final Fantasy IX character.
Let's see what Kurt does here. I'm trying to poke in this last point of damage. I don't think this deck has a lot of haste, I wouldn't think, so try and do something about this lightning before she becomes more of a terror. I wonder if Kurt has any of the hasty Zidanes. That's true, I guess Zidane can be a hasty boy. We saw the Searcher Zidane earlier, but that doesn't mean he's not playing another one.
The VV and the Black Waltz 3 art. Oh yeah? Let me look, chat. Oh, is the background of the art, yeah. I mean, all of these stained glass cards are sick. I know that we still have the Zidane coming in like the next set or something, right? And the Queen, I think they showed. I can't wait till we've got like all these dudes in stained glass.
I think those are really like the last ones, right? So we already had Amarant in the LB, right? And Freyo, not really 9 synergy, but she was printed
Ico, right?
in the Dragoon deck. Oh, Ico, yeah, that's a good call.
Garnet doesn't have one either, yeah. She doesn't have stained glass.
So I guess,
but Garnet and Ico that like pair up stained glass were like, you know, that'd be sick too.
Well, is there going to be, because there's a Zidane, Zidane and Quina. Yeah, they've been kind of doing 2 at a time, so.
Makes sense, right? I mean, I'm sure they had them all commissioned at the same time. I mean, how deep do we want to go? I'm sure they had them all commissioned at the same time when they thought that they were going to be releasing a remake of Final Fantasy IX this year, and then that didn't happen for any number of reasons. But like we all know, that was definitely part of the original plan. All right, sorry. Seeing Greg said Brian holding up Water and Fire, he might have an answer to haste, and seeing if there are any hasty Zidanes. And yeah, in fact, there was a hasty Zidane, and we are gonna have to Amaterasu that guy. So Greg saying I called it. Yeah, good call. Yeah, Brian, a smart player, holding up an answer. Exactly, like we said, Brian attacking with those 2 forwards when he's on 6 damage. My man, he better have a plan. Otherwise, his plan is to die. But it looks like he's sorting that out.
Brian's got 4 in hand this turn, so let's see how he deals with these 2 forwards.
It was Vivi, but he had the answer either way. Oh, yeah, sorry, it was Vivi. My bad. My bad.
Oh, I guess we're Luna praying.
He does have... Oh, no, this isn't the Haste Zidane. My god. I like how there's 2 different Amano art Fire Zidanes.
Trying to think, what's the other one we're thinking
2-drop haste.
Okay.
2-drop hasted in. Yeah, you're gonna go look them up. It's okay. Look, the thing about being here, I'm part of the furniture, dude. I've been here since the beginning. My brain is like 60% Final Fantasy TCG card database.
Okay, Opus 11.
That's right.
Haste Zidane deals damage to your opponent.
Heroic Zidane.
Deal it 8.
8,000, baby.
Good number.
It was perfect back then, man. 8 cleared pretty much everything that was a big threat.
One of the first decks I tried when I started in to FFTCG around like Opus 12, Opus 13 was the Opus 8 Zidane. The if you have 6 or more cards in your hand, cannot be blocked.
Yep, 2-drop water legend.
Yeah,
3K
put
power.
him out on turn 1.
Dies to a sneeze.
Yeah, but he was fun to play.
Yeah, for sure. I think he was... Chat can correct me if I'm wrong, if there's any other old heads. Was that the last viable, sageable forward? So one of the biggest things that you used to do back in the day for any aggressive fire deck was there's a Sage 2-drop backup from Opus 1 that just is like, it enters the field and you give somebody haste. And like, when I tell you that a back-breaking, viable strategy for Fire Ice was to play like a 4 CP guy and then play a 2 CP backup to haste that 4 CP guy to attack with the 4 CP guy to get a single discard was like, oh baby, a chef's kiss. Like, I did damage and I got a discard. They would haste either Opus 4 Lock or Opus 3 Genesis with Sage, and that was like a huge thing. So I think Zidane might have been the last time people tried that, because it was one of those like, oh, if I just go first, I play a 2-drop water forward, I play a 2-drop fire backup, I haste the water forward, I attack, I get the cards back, and now you immediately have to do something about him next turn, right? Or else I'm going right back to 6 cards, and then so yeah, he was an interesting little dude.
Amaterasu on the lightning.
Brutal Amaterasu there on that lightning, yeah, absolutely.
Nice way to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, that is, I think one of the reasons that this card does not see as much play is that you're so all in on, like, the thing, and there's a lot of ways to mess the thing up, you know? Yeah, but brutal Amaterasu, it's absolutely,
So we're putting out a cloud, but that's interesting, because you can't choose...
No, he's just a bod, man, that's the problem.
Target, so he's just a body.
Well, yeah, when you don't have any cards left, you know, that's what not losing looks like, unfortunately.
Yeah, right? 2 blockers for 2 forwards.
Well, the thing is, I just don't know what you're going to find even. I mean, first of all, God forbid he has anything. But second, like, what do you top deck that gets you out of this? Because you're losing both your forwards this turn just to attacks, right? Like, what's the top deck that wins the game? I don't know. It doesn't matter. He's going to Leviathan one of those forwards, and that's that.
That's the game.
And there goes the battle. And I'm just going to use alert because, I don't know. Oh, rather, sorry, he's getting that back with Leviathan. It makes sense then. Not that there's anything that can... Literally nothing that can activate, no damage that can flip, no cards in Brian's hand, like nothing. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, just
GG. Top deck Lightning and Caius if you're running it. Okay. Yeah, like the the Haste Lightning player off the 3 backups, and then you've got the big boy, sure.
Well, glad to see an FF9 deck.
Very cool, dude, yeah.
Get a win there. That was like the first thing I wanted to tinker with when Dreamlike Oceans came out, and I still never really got it functioning because I pivoted hard into a meta deck.
Shout outs to Judge Galloway from here in Raleigh. Also, hold on, let's just take a minute. Shout out to the Carolina Hurricanes on their incredible Stanley Cup run. But Mr. Galloway here from the old City of Oaks, he is a huge Final Fantasy IX gamer. So he is trying this out and constantly tinkering on a little firewater on like some different FF9 stuff. I mean, I think a lot of like Steiner's got all the right words on him, man, and he plays another card that has the right words on it. You know, there's a lot of good value there. I'm curious, you know, as they add more of these Final Fantasy IX cards over the next few sets, like we already see a commitment to them kind of like drip feeding more of those synergies. I wonder if just one day all of a sudden there will just be enough, you know, and then it'll kind of flip a switch for 9 because it's been a minute. Final Fantasy IX used to be like, I mean, we're talking Opus 3 was one of the most popular tribal, like, category tribals in the game. Light Zidane, baby. Man, that card was a nuisance. Kind of like what happened with Category 8. I mean, yeah, exactly like that, right? Because what happens is there are all these cards that have laid the right groundwork, right? Final Fantasy IX has searchers for its backups. It has searchers for its forwards. It has synergy, like free play, card value, color fixing. So it's like it's kind of missing. Well, actually, it doesn't have the right kind of color fixing. Sorry, it has some color fixing and like multi-element stuff. But even then, I think maybe actually a color fiction might be kind of something that helps tie the Final Fantasy IX room together. You know, like a backup that lets you play Final Fantasy IX cards for any color.
Yeah,
those kinds of things. Like that's like the Sid Kramer really helps the Final Fantasy VIII deck be a thing. Speaking of, by the way, the last table that we have running here is the Final Fantasy VIII deck. There's Final Fantasy VIII being played against Xavier. Looks like he's on MBM. And it looks like Balthier is on the table, and this might just be the end of the game here in MBM's favor, but we'll see. Yeah, 9. I think 9 really just needs something like either a generic payoff that's strong enough, right? Like Garnet is a cool card, but she's just like a bunch of ignorable text. Like Steiner's cool, but like what are you bringing off of him? There's nothing crazy that you're bringing off Steiner, right? There's just like some pretty efficient things you can bring it off of Steiner.
Yep.
Steiner's not playing like an Axstar level threat, you know what I mean?
I think the thing that would help 9 that helped out 8 is getting some kind of uniquely named backups. Like I feel like the
that could help them a lot too, for
with
sure.
the Alone and the Rain, you know, they really just rounded out, you know, the stuff we had already with the Sid Kramer and the Raijin Fujin.
That's a good point, is that there's a lot of, like, kind of no matter where you hang your hat element-wise for Final Fantasy VIII these days, there's a lot of really good synergies. And I think just, like, throwing more of those synergies... Because, I mean, like I said, back in the day, Artemisian, Ico, Steiner, and Light Zidane, those 4 cards together were an insane efficiency package in, like, water decks, right? Just really good. I mean, back then, backups weren't searchable. So, like, the fact that you had a 3 CP backup that searched this forward that could search your next backup, and the fact that you had a 2 CP backup that, like, filtered your hand back into the deck to get new cards. Like, Artemisian, to this day, belongs in every single one of these Final Fantasy IX lists, right? 2 CP backup, Artemisian. Still one of my favorite backups in the entire game from Opus 3. I still play that card. Things like that are just like, he is a unique effect, he's really good, he's a 2 CP backup, he's a uniquely named character. Just a couple more of those for Final Fantasy IX and we might be off to the races. Alright, let's see, what is, this one's over as well. Squall was the last 2 points of damage there. It's unfortunate for the Final Fantasy VIII deck. That's usually the guy that you want to be jamming, not not flipping as you're losing. MBM taking that one. So looks like we've got MBM. The decks that we saw moving on were MBM and Final Fantasy IX. Then what did we see in that first one? No, it was 9 versus 4 was what we watched, right? Yeah. Okay, all right. Oh, the Turbo Bosch. That's right. Turbo Bosch beat Icewind. Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what, guys. Welcome to Title Week. We've got 12, 9, 8, MBM.
I love to see that. I mean, that's kind of what. I mean, obviously, being a big Final Fantasy fan got me into the game, but like the fact that you can, play these category synergies, I think it's really cool, and it makes the game special to me. Coming from playing Magic as a kid, where it's like, I'm playing green, forest stuff. It's cool to look at, but I didn't really have a connection there. But the fact that you get to play, with those synergies of the characters, your FF6 deck, your 9, your 12, all that stuff's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could talk all day about how well designed this TCG is, but it is really cool how many angles cards can have really relevant synergies off of. Like, you can build an entire deck around element synergy, you could build an entire deck around job synergy, you could build an entire deck around category synergy. Hell, you can even build an entire deck around the unique name rule and synergy, like the Army of One Lightning deck or the Kane jump deck, right? Like, those decks are literally like, oh, is the character's name Kane? Guess what? This game has a design mechanic that lets you build around that and make that relevant. Like, that's really cool. I love that somebody can come into this game and you can say, what's your favorite Final Fantasy? And you can usually hook them up with that deck. Or you could say, like, what's your favorite job? Like, maybe they're a big 14 gamer. Like, what's your favorite Final Fantasy 14? What do you play? Like, oh, I'm a monk. I'm a samurai. I'm a dragoon. Well, great news. Here's a dragoon deck. Here's a samurai deck. I always think that those are classically Final Fantasy, and that it's always popular whenever what I will call a traditional job wheel job has synergies in this game. If anything, I really would like to see more of the job wheel jobs have relevant synergies. I would love to see White Mage synergy. I would love to see Thief synergies. Like, those types of things would be cool. They'd be cool decks.
Yeah, Thief could be on the come up. I could see that.
Yeah, we have a lot of thieves, and like card name thief and job thief, and I think the thing that they shied away from is early on, thieves was it was a little bit about milling. So I think that's something they shy away from. I think milling is just a really negative play experience most of the time.
That's true.
But they could just change it to something else, right? I'm too new to know. Has there been a competitive red mage deck? I love that you asked this question. No, I would say there has not been a competitive red mage deck. But if you would like to know if there has ever been a red mage synergy job synergy deck that has been played in a tournament, I can tell you yes. At the Boston Crystal Cup, you could reach out to, I think, Chocobo Joe about that one. He played a red mage, black mage deck, I'm pretty sure. But no.
Back in the good old days.
No, there was not a good red mage deck. There should be. Again, that's what I think. I think when the black mage deck was popular, like, even if it wasn't super good, people were just really excited to try it because they like black mages, right? Dragoons is fun. How many people come into the game and they're like, oh, dude, I love Dragoon, right? They do Dragoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dragoons would be cool. Samurais and monks both have had their time in the sun. Those were really popular when they were around. Oh, it'd be sick to see like a Dark Knight deck that cares more about like self-damage and stuff. Yeah, I mean, all of those. I mean, I'm a huge Final Fantasy 11 nut, right? So obviously I care a lot about the jobs and their like class identity. But I think that this game does such a good job with all those different synergies, like the ways that a deck can be built. That's what makes it so diverse, right? That's what makes there so many different viable things. All right. Anyway, I am rambling, and I should be punching in results.
Yeah, let's pair that next round.
Let's do it.
I'll say from my perspective, I'm a big Final Fantasy Tactics fan, so I mean, jobs are definitely big in my book too. But also tactics synergy. I'm always trying to put something together with Final Fantasy Tactics where my knight deck Knight's deck was kind of the closest we ever got with Delita, Ramza, Agrius, but I guess the kind of bummer when it comes to tactics is they split it into Tactics Advance 2, and now they even have a fourth one, Tactics F or something like that from some Japanese mobile game that we never got.
Oh, really?
So it's tough with that category.
I don't even think I knew about that one.
Being so spread out.
Yeah, I don't think I even knew that they had like an F or whatever one. Oh wait, are you kind of you're talking about the FFBE thing, or that? Well, that was also a tactics thing, right? They had like War of the Visions or whatever. I know that's a whole other thing, but that was technically tactics too.
But no, there's a category FFTS.
You mean in the sorry, I'm so sorry. You're talking about how in the TCG you're upset that they split Final Fantasy Tactics into multiple jobs. Yes. Or multiple categories. Yeah, I agree with that. I will say that if you weren't around in Opus 11 or you weren't like super competitive in Opus 11, like when they made the FFTA cards, like thank God those guys only had synergies with themselves and not Final Fantasy Tactics, because they were already pretty fucking crazy, nutso broken. But yeah, another thing that's interesting is that the early sets of the game, there is so much FFT. Like, there's a crazy amount of tactics. Even just the summons and everything are all tactics in the first sets. A lot of them are. Like, the 7CP Odin is tactics. I remember the first title deck I ever played at the first ever Materia Cups, or Crystal Cup, side event was FFT, and I was just using Ram's S abilities, like shout over and over and over again. So it was kind of just like playing tactics.
Nice.
Where you shout.
Yeah, the first time we did title at my LGS, I brought a tactics deck.
Heck yeah.
Just for the fun.
I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't know much about title, but I want to play the most normal deck I can, because at the time, you basically, like, some titles just didn't even have backups. You know what I mean? It was like 5 sets in. So I was like, well, at least this way I get to play backups and forwards and summons. And I'll just abuse, like, the S abilities. Alright. Round 2 pairings are going up here, folks. I accidentally was running 2 instances of this tournament, which is a really interesting new problem I've never created for myself. So I went to go put in the results, and I was looking at, like, a different list of pairings. that still had DJ in it from before he dropped, and I was like, oh, that's not right. Then I had to double check that I didn't post the wrong pairings with DJ's name, but I'm like, surely they would have called me out. Then I found out, oh nope, I have 2 different tabs going. All right, table 2 is Kurt 7-2 over Brian. Table 3, Connor 7-0 over
made a comment in here. It'd be like if they made Final Fantasy X-2 like its own category.
Yeah, that would be weird. Yeah,
the Gull Wings were like separate. I mean, I guess it's like Tactics Advance is a very different cast of characters and whatnot from Tactics, so
it's like if they took all of the Final Fantasy 12 characters and made them a board game category simply because they were in this board game together.
You know what? I bought that board game. I bought Moogle Bounty Mayhem recently.
Yeah, okay.
And I popped them all out. I feel like everybody says they can't add more to that category because they used all the art. There are characters that they did not use.
Yeah, I bet because like Backnami, for example, is like a standard unit multiplayer guy. I bet there's more of those like generic dudes too.
Yeah, I mean, there's no more heroes. The Moogles all got used up. Yeah, there's like different monsters that they could put out.
Yeah, for sure. So I know they got the Rogue Tomato in there. I'm almost certain they've got the Rogue Tomato in there. It's Final Fantasy 12. It's like the favorite thing that they've ever done is turn a Mandragora into a tomato.
Isn't Rogue Tomato one of the NBM cards we got though?
Is he? He probably is.
He's the fire one.
Oh
right?
yeah, he is. See, look at that. I knew there was gonna be a Rogue Tomato in there. They're like holy shit, we're so clever. We made a Mandragora into a tomato. This is my impression of the dev room for Final Fantasy 12. I really see. Look, it's funny that you thought I liked Final Fantasy 12. All right, these people got their pairings. At players, at moderators.
I know I haven't been able to attend any of the Materia Cups this year, and so I'm definitely interested in chatting about those experiences you've been to. But I will say, while you're doing all your pairing stuff, I've got to play my first LQ about a week and a half ago, the Connecticut local qualifier, which was a lot of fun.
Very cool.
A bunch of us from New Hampshire came down to Connecticut, and then a contingency from New York came over.
Sick.
I feel a little bit bad because we kind of came in there and smashed. The top 8 was like I think 2 Connecticut people, and the rest were out of towners. But
to be fair, I went to a Connecticut. Uncommon. Yeah, I was gonna say I went to a Connecticut LQ in 2019, and that was exactly what it was like. The store was sick. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. I hope you guys have like a cool scene. And I don't think they are still even around.
Yeah, I think there was 2 LQs down in Connecticut last year.
Heck
Obviously,
cool.
We know this year's kind of messed up, but they have one, and it was really nice. I think that store had recently kind of moved and rebranded, but
nice.
It was still. I mean, the players are super nice. The staff was super nice, super well run. I had a really good time. Came in third. So
hey, nice, dude. That's pretty good. Right outside of the mat, right? The only top 2 or top 4 get the mat.
Yeah, that was just top 2.
Those son of a bitches, huh?
How could I got some promos. I got some sleeves. And I had a good time.
And you had a good time.
Really
yeah,
what
exactly.
It was all about.
Hell yeah, dude. Love that. Love that. All right. Ignoring the drama dragon on my back. Moving on to this next round, dude. We've got table 2 looks like it's already popped, and Greg told me that he's playing something freaky this week. It's him versus June at table 2. Let's jump in there.
All right. Yeah, we haven't seen them yet, right?
We have not seen either of them, so this is a perfect little visit.
Perfect pairing.
That's right, a perfect pairing. All right, we are underway here. Let me get the game on the screen, and then the names on the screen. Oh, actually, the game's on the screen because I never switched to switching tables because I'm falling apart. So
I'm distracting you.
I guess we're already here. It's not you that's distracting me, bro. It's this. It's the other thing I was talking to you about earlier.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on there. I'm looking at the little audit trail here, and they're doing some funky stuff. But I'm sure once you get the names on the screen, so I think June's on top, and then we've got not Kurt, on the bottom. I'm looking at the stream and getting confused. It is Greg on the bottom.
Yeah, don't listen to that guy. He probably has to update those names and probably forgot to like transition the scene to switching tables or whatever.
Let's see, this is not a card I've seen played before. Mid Prevera.
Oh, which one?
Due to your cast
Oh yeah.
Forward, yeah.
The
Reveal
one that,
top
like,
5.
Yeah.
Play 1 forward, up to 1 backup, up to
And
1 monster.
Cost 8 or less, I think.
Total count is 8. So we flipped a Fujin, a Raijin, which we're happy to send them to the break zone. Lena backup, Moogle backup, and another Raijin. So
that's kind of sucky, dude. Like, what
so
a
we're gonna end up
cool
with
idea.
A Lena, a Raijin, and a Fujin is, I'm guessing, what we're gonna.
What a sad flip for such a cool idea, dude. Imagine if he had just big dogged and like played 3 cards and then played Fujin Raijin on the table. Damn, dude. Instead, he's executing the normal text of the card. Damn, poor Greg. I mean, he is gonna get the Raijin trigger, but like, I mean, that's basically the same as playing a monster for free. So this could have been a crazy mid-Previa play, and instead it's just like, it's one of the most normal mid-Previa things that could have happened. Which is unfortunate when he's got such a fun idea.
Well, at least pitching 5 and those other cards were already got Raijin and Fujin online with the 10 in the break zone. We actually have 11 in the break zone. So
oh yeah, dude, very cool.
They're pumped up and ready to swing. Ooh, but a Lightning EX is going to erase one of them.
And the Raijin goes because I think there's already a second one of him in the discard, right? Yeah, there is, yeah.
I guess I'm kind of shocked about that, though, because the Raijin gives the haste. Fujin gives first strike. I feel like at this point, You want to get the first strike off the board.
No. The first strike is irrelevant, right? Because like you're probably taking these next two on the noggin, or you're just gonna kill the guy. You want to take the haste off the board so Cypher doesn't come down and you like lose the game.
That's true. Yeah, I guess the Cypher, if that's being played.
Almost certainly, dude. He's I see 2 Irvines in there, but no, those Cyphers. Yeah, because I mean, I'm looking at this mid, and I'm like, this actually could have been crazy. We could have like killed our opponent in 2 turns, or at least threatened to do it, right? If mid Previa had revealed any other forward, and then put the Fujin Raijin in the discard pile, and we had 4 guys, and then potentially, you know, a haster for the for like a Cypher or something like that next turn, like we could be in real danger. But we had kind of a double issue happen here for Greg, where one, he revealed the same guys he was discarding, so he didn't get the extra value. There's that Cypher. And 2, he had the EX happen, so unfortunately he lost the Raijin. But see, now he has to get it back with Cypher, and then he has to play it again. It's like you made him do all that extra stuff instead of just attack with Cypher. He might not have replayed a Fujin, you know? And there go all the mid Previas. Yeah, did we pitch all 3 of them too? I mean, I'll tell you, look.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Mid Previa has done its job. You're not trying to play like a mid-game mid Previa.
Yeah, I think that's what obviously one's still on the board, so.
I mean, we have our opponent in full-blown check here. Like, he's a 6 damage. If things had gone any differently for us, he could just be dead. Right? So, it's,
Yeah,
and right there, I mean, that's a perfect example of why killing the Raijin, right? Because he had to play out all this stuff to get you to 6. Like, imagine you left that there, he just plays the Cypher. I mean, he has 2 Irvines in his discard pile, right? But, like, he technically, if you left the Raijin and he plays the Cypher and he gets back, like, Irvine or something instead, like, you could just have died. Instead of just presenting one, I guess 2 attackers.
I don't know what June's out would be here with this seemingly, I guess, mana or water lightning deck.
It is water lightning and is doing like monster stuff, but also has I see the other lightning in here, but I think it's probably that's just the other lightning we're choosing for our 6 copies of lightning and our 6 Odins, right? I mean, what it looks like to me is we desperately need Witch of the Fens. It's really, really unfortunate that 2 Moth Slashers are in the damage zone, because Moth Slasher, Witch of the Fens is like how you get something out of nothing here and stabilize the board. Unfortunately, it looks like we may just be getting like Thornton for Witch, and then you have like, you don't want to really sack this blue, or like things are just looking really bad, right? But yeah. I think if we had if we had a Moth Slasher still, like if we could still go through 3 Moth Slashers with a Witch of the Fens and then just hit the Thornton off the Luna Freya, I think we're maybe okay. But I mean, that's not possible anymore, so I think we are in a little bit of a sticky situation here.
Great. I know last time I played up against a Moth Slasher, it was on the field. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to deal with this thing, and then it died. Whatever happened to it. I was like, you're not gonna play another one? The other 2 were like in their hand, and I was like, whew, it's a good place for those to be for me. But yeah, June seeing those in damage, it's like, well, you know, that plays obviously off the field. But we're bringing in Shadow Dragon off this new Golbez play that has been seeing some work. Play the Golbez, bring the Shadow Dragon in from the break zone, right? By paying 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's
3 costs, so we broke that Cypher.
This Shadow Dragon always had all the right text on him. It's just that like every Golbez was kind of bad. So it's cool that he's finally seeing his time here.
The Realm replacement Golbez.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's a card.
They're slotting them into the monster decks, so
yeah, it does a completely different thing than Realm, like entirely different. And
cost 5, yeah. Searches a monster.
Okay. So checkers and chess are the same because they're played on a red and black checkered board.
Exactly. Very
all right.
Similar
Yeah, got it.
Got That's why they put
Heard.
the pieces in the same
Look,
box
like
together.
now I understand what gloves I should be wearing when I'm discussing this with you guys. Thank you for clarifying that for me. Well, we'll keep the kitty gloves on. It's a 5 cost, just like Realm.
So, I mean, at least June was able to put some bodies out there, so we're not... I mean, the situation was pretty dire.
We got the... I mean, Golbez helps, right? Because he goes and he gets 2 bods, so he's like a 2-in-1 kind of deal, and we Luna Freya, which like helps us add another card to our hand, and it was the Thornton, and what did we get the Golbez off of Thornton? Probably, right?
Probably.
Yeah, we did. We got the Golbez off the Thornton, so it's kind of interesting here that like it really shows you how powerful Limit Break can be too. Because we're like, damn, we're up against the wall. We don't have very many cards. We need to turn, like, there's not very many cards into a lot of stuff. How can we do that? All right, Luna Freya finds Thornton. He searches Golbez. We play that. He gets Shadow Dragon. He activates a backup, which gives us the backup we need to tap, pitch, and play Leo, right? So, like, all of that stuff is all relevant to each other. Like, Luna Freya was this chain of events that allowed us to develop 4 blockers that turn. Now, unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be enough to get us out of this situation, man. We'll see. Like I said, we really need Witch of the Fens. I mean, goddamn, dude, like a Marlboro. Marlboro, yeah. Witch of the Fens would just hit so right. Because you could kill one of the other things while one of these... Basically, the attacks are all unsafe if that's the case, right? So, like, they go into attack, you wipe the abilities, you easily block one, and then hopefully have killed another guy with the ability wipe, but... Apkalu basically just replacing itself here. As Golbez lets you activate the backup.
That is some cheeky text on the play a monster, dull or activate something.
Yeah. I mean, it's choose one character, too, so I think a lot of times people forget they can just dull your guys. Like, they could play it and dull your blocker.
Oof.
They can play it and dull your monster. They can play it and dull your backup, you know? Now, you only get to dull one thing, but still, it's the flexibility on it. I mean, this is just always true, right? The more flexibility something has, the better it is. Like, you know, if I can use this to activate or dull, I can use it on my characters or their characters, and it's character, not forward, not backup, not monster. Like, it's flexible in all the right ways, and that's what makes it so good. And Golbez sticking around, yeah, that's a good point. You know, one of the few things... June really needed to find a way to start, like, growing a snowball of value on their side of the table. And Golbez looks like he's starting a little snowman. Uh-oh, Witch of the Fens is coming out here with the snow removal spray from the Frosty the Snowman sequel.
Yeah, we Lena specialed into that.
We got our own Witch of the Fens first, which is kind of troll. I mean, June's been over there the whole game waiting for Witch of the Fens, and we're going to get witched. Dude, Water Lightning gamers rising up. I love that Greg has brought yet another new Water Lightning variant to the table tonight. I think
fun.
This is
I
like
love to see people cook.
It's like the 5th or 6th different type of Water Lightning deck that we've seen this set.
I don't think there's much left here to do other than start swinging and breaking stuff.
Yeah.
I was thinking with the Lena, maybe you do bring Cypher back, but it comes in dull, so that the Witch of the Fens definitely advantageous there. So what are we doing? We're attacking. Use the Apkalo to shoot the Shadow Dragon and the Blue Worm. So now we got a block with the Golbez.
And
Which
we don't,
means
we don't want to do that. But it is, that's the nature of Witch of the Fence, right? Is, I'm going to win combat, I'm going to remove your blockers. Like, I really just don't know how.
Looks like we put Astrologian into the break zone, hoping to
Looking
draw
for literally
something.
anything. Maybe like a Lena S, right? Like if we crack the Astro, we draw Lena S, we use it, we get our Witch, we draw a card, we up Kalu their guy and block with the Golbez and don't lose him, but hey, it's crazy, but we're playing to our outs at that point.
I was thinking maybe trying to do a Torpedo Lightning, get a blocker, build something. But
Yeah, no, we can't do it on the opponent's turn, unfortunately, either. Kukulane, it looks like we just cast one to see and then put another one into damage, and that's GG. Yeah, I think that like this deck can stabilize against an aggressive opening like that if it hits Witch Moth Slasher. I think that's always been true for Water Lightning, right? If they come in really angry on you early, you hit like a Knight's deck or something like that, you hit Witch Moth Slasher and you're chilling. But unfortunately, that's one of the differences, right? I mean, we're joking about it a little bit earlier, but Golbez versus a card like Realm. Realm is not just getting you a neutral play, like she's not just getting you a card back. Oh, let me just develop a thing and get some value and get some cards back. Like, her finding 2 monsters at a time really does matter that much, right? For something like Witch of the Fence. It really does. Especially when one of those monsters is Moth Slasher, so you're effectively finding a minimum of 4 Witch of the Fence bullets off of a Realm. Like, can Golbez go get a Moth Slasher? Yeah, and I bet he does sometimes in this deck, right? But that's not the best use of him either, right? You want to be playing like Cerberus or something off of him. So like he gets there, but it's not the same in a way that's pretty significant difference. I think we would have been really happy to be able to play 3 of a pitchable card that could get us the answer to get out of this situation in this deck, but that's just not where we live anymore. Yeah, the removal of Realm makes it more difficult to love for sure. Yeah, the mid is sick, man. Because like imagine if we mid that turn, the first turn, and the other Raijin is like any other forward, right?
Yeah.
Then you've got mid, forward, backup, Raijin Fujin, which is the dream. I mean, I imagine that's the hope. Also, he does play monsters in here, so there was a chance he could have ripped like an Apkalu or something. I think we saw one of like the most cursed mids that he can do, but at least even in that situation, he still got to trigger one of those free forwards. So very cool. Very cool. All right, switching tables. I'll tell you what, man.
The transition.
I did it. Thank you. I did it. We've been seeing some weird stuff tonight, and like weird in a good and fun way. Like these are a lot of really cool decks.
Do you find that surprising since we're in the middle of organized play season? People aren't grinding out the meta decks. Are they trying something new to try and, get around, what's being played out there? Or
I think there's like 10 different things, right? It's always how it is. It's not, no one thing is what's doing anything, right? I think that just for start, and these are not in any kind of order of importance or anything like that, right? For starters, this is a place where you bring something weird and fun, right? So we're going to see weird and fun stuff more frequently here than we're going to see it on other events. Now, to that point, people do still absolutely play real things here, and sometimes weird and fun things are also real, right? And people definitely do get practice in here. We've seen some of these just previous weeks. We've seen Icewind, Wall 7, all those kinds of things. But number 2 thing I'm going to say is I think that this meta is very open, so people feel like they are allowed to play different things. What I mean by that is I always think the meta is more open than people like believe it is or say it is. Obviously, I think that, right, as the Dancers guy. But I think that right now it's so undeniable how many different things are good that you're hearing a lot of people and top people be like, it's so open right now, and when that's the sentiment, it just makes it true. You know what I mean? Like it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more that we talk about how you can just play anything and see success, the more that somebody feels emboldened to try their weird new idea, and then when that idea works, it's a positive reinforcement loop on like the meta is so open and I can try different things, right? Instead of a negative feedback loop of like, oh, well, I tried the weird thing and didn't win, I should just play Warriors and XR, right? Like, so I think those things happen too. So it frees people up. It lets people feel like they can play it. It lets people feel better about playing it. And then it lets them have like this positive reinforcement loop when they see results. So those things, when they happen together, people are willing to try different strange decks. And if those different strange decks were all just getting stuffed by the same strategy, like that wouldn't work either, right? So it's really good that right now like Ice Wind, for example, if Ice Wind was like 50% of the people playing tonight, and everybody was dealing with getting their hand pitched at the end of every game, that stops a lot of those like fun decks from doing their crazy fun thing, right? And that would feel bad, and a lot of people would think, oh, I guess I don't have to play the fun thing anymore. But I think they did a really good job designing how obvious the setup and then the payoff is for the discard thing that's happening in Icewind. So I think it can still get you sometimes, and it can still take you off guard. But I think for the most part, people understand, like, okay, he's building to that thing. Like, he's going to get ready to do the thing. I have a turn or two to maybe do something about it. Like, and it's kind of like, it feels a little bit more fair, even though it's really strong, right? It doesn't feel like the turbo discard type of things where you lose 3 cards from your hand turn 1, where they play 6 forwards and they unilock you on like the first turn, and then nothing you can do, right? I think for the most part in this meta, all the best decks still very much let you play your game. And that's a huge thing too. So it's kind of like a perfect storm, in my opinion. All of these things are true at once, right? If Ice Wind Crystals did not win the Raleigh Materia Cup, people would not be feeling like they're like Crystals. I think would still have a taboo. I think people would. Some people would be trying it, but I don't think people would like just feel like it's good enough and just play it, right? Like people just want to see proven results. So the fact that somebody came up with a unique and cool idea of their own and like worked on it and it worked really well, and it's also a really good deck and it uses a lot of new cards, and that it won the first Materia Cup in North America, that was the best possible thing that could have happened for the meta to be open for the rest of the season for us here, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, I think that's what having a meta is all about. I mean, people seeing what's working, what's winning, what people are playing, and making their decisions based off of that. So.
Yeah. Also, by the way, chat, what I'm saying is unban Stern, Cecil Rosa, and Althea. Yeah, you can unban all those cards. I didn't have a problem with any of them, and I didn't agree that any of them should have been banned. And people are going to come at me for that. They always do. And I'll say the same thing I've been saying the entire time, because I am consistent, that I hesitate to think anything needs to be banned. I'm hyper conservative on bans and restrictions. That's different strokes for different folks. Not everybody feels the same way. I mean, it's literally like politics. Like some people are conservative, some people are really, really liberal, right? Some people think just ban the 20 best things because it forces everything to change. And I'm like, that's the most horrible thing I've ever heard in my life. So like, those are the extremes. Like there are people to think differently. For me, whether it's because of the games I've played over the years, like the different competitive environments I've been in, I think a huge thing is like which competitive environments I came up in, like which games I learned to be competitive in. My tolerance for like degenerate gameplay or oppressive gameplay is like so high, and I don't even think Final Fantasy TCG comes even close to scratching some of the most degenerate things I've experienced in other games. So it's like, until we reach like, I know what a problem looks like, and I haven't seen one yet. Is kind of the way what I'm saying, But to other people, they say I know what a problem looks like, and this has all of the hallmarks of it. So I'm not here to say who's right and who's wrong. Thankfully, there's a team of people whose job it is to be the arbiters of this for us, right? But yeah, you'll find in general, whenever it comes to any kind of ban conversation, I'm really, really conservative on bans.
Ghoul had a pretty good podcast recently where he kind of talked about bans. His podcast's on YouTube for those that haven't been following it. Yeah, obviously, everyone's got their own take, and we'll approach it differently. But I think it's always interesting to hear kind of different people's opinions on the different cards. And for someone who hasn't been around forever, Like I mentioned, kind of coming up right when Opus 13 was around, but not really playing, just collecting. It's interesting to hear that perspective on, what the scene was like back when that stuff was happening.
Oh, I mean, you know what? I'll tell you what. I obviously haven't listened to his thing, but I think it's really easy to look backwards and say like, all these things were totally justified. I don't know what his opinion is, but at the time I thought they were ridiculous decisions, and I still think they were all ridiculous decisions now. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if his was like, here's why they happened, or I agree or disagree with them, or even if it went so far as like, oh god, okay, this is like every third rail in my mind. We should just stop talking about it so that I'm not mean about somebody else's content. You guys should go watch it if you're interested. Yeah, I think it sounds like him and I fundamentally disagree on game design. Probably tier lists, in my opinion, are ridiculous, toxic, stupid things, and again, people just like to be told. People just want the only reason they want a tier list is because they want you to tell them what the best thing on the list is, so they can only play that thing. You know what I mean? Like,
he took it in a point of like a tier list as like, these are the things I think should definitely still be banned, and these are the things I think could be unbanned.
Oh, okay, sure. But even still, yeah, here's the thing about unbanning cards is you should just never do it, ever. Because there's no reason. Yeah, there's no reason to do it. Just
I feel like we've moved on, so
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
There is
I mean, we got Dataluma back.
Tier list in a card game makes sense. I disagree. I disagree. I think that they make people feel comfortable. I don't think that they make sense. I should say, I don't think that anybody has the amount of information or the expertise to be the one telling us. I think tier lists are like the number one like armchair designer type of thing that people do. Meanwhile, I've had another game on like my screen, but not on your guys' screen for a minute now. There you go.
I know, we've been popping off. The chat's been popping off. I know, unfortunately, this game ended. I saw you were in there too.
Yeah.
I think all the games are wrapped up for this round.
All right, cool. Dad's back and hasn't been amounted to much. Well, see, the reason that you just don't get rid of... The reason why you just don't get rid of stuff is... Or don't unban stuff is because then you never have to have another discussion about it. Like, unfortunately, you've already had to have the discussion where you had to remove this thing from the game. That's like the worst thing that can happen. Why would you ever unban it just so that you would maybe have to have that decision again in the future? Like, just leave it be. It's done. You know? What? Like, it's really not worth their time to discuss it even. Is how I feel. Bring back Gesper and Thal. It's part of why they make sense. Making people who can't engage as much with the hobby comfortable picking up a new deck is important. I mean, they can just understand what's good. Like, you can say a deck is good without ranking it against other decks in like a completely subjective way. Like these things are not dependent on each other. I like tier lists for the opposite reason. When a big name says X is the best deck, I get to build rogue bullshit and make people crash out. But like, you can do that anyway. Again, you don't need somebody to tell you. You know what I mean?
Not to continue spiraling this up, but I thought the one of the interesting pieces of that, again, kind of going back in the vault and hearing about why these things were banned. Looking at the Guido, the Opus 3 Guido that got banned, it's like, well, this card is kind of crappy, but like why it got banned at the time was interesting that it just had this infinite loop. And I guess for me, the interesting piece of looking back at the old bans is like, clearly the game design, like they've learned a lot over 10-15 years. That we're celebrating the anniversary of the Opus this year, and the 15-year anniversary of the card game in general. So I find that piece fascinating, kind of looking back and just kind of seeing where we're talking about where things were and where we are today. I think the game design has changed a lot. They've learned a lot.
Well, maybe, right? But again, so this is where we get into like, it feels like that's an implication that the bans were because they had missteps in game design, which I think is fundamentally untrue. Right? Besides
like
specifically
Hideout,
that guy.
Well,
again, so hold on though. That implies they weren't aware of it. They knew. They printed it knowing that that was possible. They mentioned that they believed that it was too awkward to be consistently good. And then as soon as people kind of showed that it was consistently good, they were like, okay, that was our bad. And that's exactly how they framed it. So it was not, oops, we missed that. It was, we knew about that. We didn't think it was going to be a problem. And like, oops, that was our mistake.
I feel like you learn from that. Like, be like, I admit we made a mistake, and it's like, all right, well, we kind of learned our lesson there, and we got more cards to design, and we'll keep that in mind.
Sure, I think that singular, like, thing was them admitting to, like, them being like, hey, yeah, we thought that would be a little harder. It obviously wasn't our mistake. Most of the bans are literally them saying, like, hey, we heard you complaining about this, and we agreed to change the landscape of... I think literal language used for Data Limit Cactuar was to change the landscape of the meta. They're like, yeah, I guess it's been good for a while, we could change it. It's like, I think people are just babies a little bit. But there's also never been a meta in this game that's been as oppressive as like 2008 Pokemon Guardy Gallade or any other insert 1 or 2 deck formats here. Like, we've never had something like that in this game, so... I also think people are just, in the context of this game, sure, maybe it's like the worst thing anyone's ever experienced, but I think in general, this game is pretty protective of the player, and there aren't too many like unforgiving, degenerate strategies that get very far. Alright, I'm posting round 3.
What I haven't learned is giving light and dark cards repeatable action abilities.
Oh, like they shouldn't do... I mean, well, so again, here's... I think this is a different conversation now, right? Does anybody honestly think that they didn't know that Unit could do those things multiple times a turn? Like, does anybody think that card was not pushed to be good on purpose? Did it go too far? Sure. But they they did it on purpose.
Yeah, they knew.
They knew. They're not idiots. We can't simultaneously give them credit for like getting 99% of it right and then be like, oh, they're so stupid. Like, it doesn't work. And yeah, this is, you know what, it's hot takes or whatever, but it's my stream too, so welcome to my opinion. I got 2 Droppos. Shaco Box, who are you?
I like what Glowing Desk mentions about not having like a truly singular dominant deck format. Kind of like going back to our conversation about the different synergies is, I guess I haven't been playing a super long time, I'm like less than 2 years in, but, I was collecting and paying somewhat attention for a while. But it's not like Warriors has been, a dominant deck for the last 10 years.
It used to not even be in the conversation. There used to be no such
right?
thing. Even though there were Warrior cards for a very long time, there used to be no such thing as a Warriors deck until they printed Axstar. Or not Axstar, what's his name? Tyvus, yeah.
So, I do like that about, the game, is that, it does ebb and flow and change as they, publish new cards and keep it moving forward.
Alright, this is our last round. Oh, this is our last round. We've got it nice and clean tonight. So we've got only 2 undefeated. It's Greg versus Xavier. So I think it's going to be MBM versus Mid Previa. Another 2 Water Lightning decks. So this is... it certainly feels like last set we started to see Water Lightning monsters and then some Scion stuff from Greg, and like it was really coming into, it was all of a sudden it was like, dude, Water Lightning is a really powerful element combination. Like, you really have to respect the dual element multi-lightning. That multi-element lightning card existed for much longer than the level of play she's getting now, you know what I mean? I think we kind of really got onto that card and like that those strategies being good, and there were the monsters decks, there's the Scion stuff. Now we come into this set, there's the oops mono water, just kidding, it's not really mono water stuff. There's the Scion stuff. There's this mid Previa stuff. There's Final Fantasy IV, like Kane, Dragoon, Jump
MBM.
stuff. There's MBM stuff. There's just a regular old like lightning, like water lightning good stuff deck that's just trying to kill you with all like hasty water lightning dudes. I mean, boy, there's still monster angles to it. Like, there's just so many of them out here. I think it's really, really cool to see, like, when an element combo goes from being like, if you look at the first, God, I don't even know, 15 sets of the game, there's no water lightning decks. So it's really neat that some of those element combos finally get kind of like a time in the sun, I say I kind of feel that way about Icewind right now. Not that Icewind has never been good. It's had its times where it's been good, but it's not good very often. So I always think it's fun when it comes back to see that element combination.
I'm just loading up the game here, trying to figure out who the people are.
Table 1, it's going to be Greg as Jesus and Xavier as Kankuya.
Xavier, okay, cool.
Oh no, sorry, he's not that anymore. He's Drag Savior X.
Yeah, so I was like, I think the Discord name's not matching the Octagon.
Well, it used to be his Octagon name. I've seen these people use 10 different Octagon names. I remember them all fondly.
I've been kind of hot on MBM recently.
I like it a lot.
I think it's fun to play.
Backups feel really good, man. Woo, boy, does it feel good to build 5 backups in MBM. It's like a what do I do with all these limes type of situation.
I played Mono Earth at the LQ that I went to. And,
okay.
So I've been, doing reps on it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, real slow and grindy. So to play MBM, it's a change of pace. And,
MBM
where
kind
I
of has
played,
both modes. You can be slow and grindy with it, but then it also suddenly just kills you.
Yeah. Where I mainlined Knights last year, just getting away from that kind of fast-paced style. I'm like, oh yeah, MBM, scratching my itch.
There are so many different ways to like play this game, like play styles. I mean, like ways that decks play to enjoy. And I think people should make it a point to break themselves out of like their standard. You don't have to do it all the time. Hey, there's a reason you go back to your comfort picks, right? For sure. But I think you should explore other decks because almost nothing will help you understand like what makes a deck good, like playing it will. And you'll even understand what things like you're running into. You're like, oh man, it's really annoying when I play MBM and like X happens to me, right? And then when you're playing against an MBM, you might be like, oh shit, he might be in one of those awkward situations where he has like too many of the same name guy in his hand because, he looks like he's making some of those decisions or some of those plays. Like I've been in that situation. I know that happens to you sometimes, and you can identify when they're struggling and then you can put the screws to them. Is Xavier on top? Yes, he is. Xavier is on top and Greg is on the bottom.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, you watched the stream for the last Materia Cup?
What's that? Sorry.
Did you watch the stream for the?
I watched
the
bits and
King
pieces
Kong?
of it. Yeah.
Just Bradley. Is that the guy who won? I think that
I'm
was
not
his
sure.
name.
I'm sorry.
They did an interview with him, and he was just like, "Yeah, I was just like playing Icewind Crystals because like my friends wanted to play against it."
Oh yeah, I loved that. Yeah.
He got a bunch of reps on it, so he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna play this."
I did see that he said that. Yeah, he was like, I wasn't trying to play it, but I was just playing it and found out I loved it. Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Sometimes you just start playing a deck and you're like, oh damn, I could do this. Oh wait, I can do this, and like then you're learning more about it, and then you understand like, because here's the thing, there's a surface level reason that decks are good, right? But the real good decks, they have like 100 little synergy, like little things in them that are tying them together, like little bits of glue that hold the whole thing together that make it work. And like as you start to play more and more of a deck, you start to really understand those little intricacies, and that's when you become dangerous on a deck. That's when you become a good pilot.
We did the mid previa thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we got a backup, but we did get forward and a monster. We got that moss slasher we were talking about. The other thing it did, it put a lightning in the break zone. That torpedo lightning's in there now, so it looks like there is an Odin and one lightning, so we need one more lightning in there to have that online. My top 4 match at the LQ was against a water lightning chart deck.
Oh yeah, okay.
That break zone all the time. I was like, "Is lightning online? Is lightning online?" I feel like
yeah, and that's another water lightning variant now, right? We've been seeing like water lightning good stuff plus chaos arc. I think there might be like 10 different water lightning variants that are like significantly different from each other.
Oh man, did we pop the Raijin off of the cipher on this one?
Yeah, sure looks like we are fully torqued over here on Greg's side of the table.
What a turn.
We've been jabbering on, but I'm curious. I didn't see exactly what he hit off of his first mid.
So he got the Witch of the Fens and the Moth Slasher.
I mean, that's pretty good. We were just talking about how the ability to set that Moth Slasher thing up early is really valuable. Yeah, he finds Lightning of Kalu, Blue Worm, Witch of the Fens, and Moth Slasher. Unfortunately, 3 monsters, 2 forwards. He's really not getting the 1-1-1 treatment here. Sometimes getting your teeth kicked in. I'm sorry, I was reading the same thing. Yeah, I totally agree with that. The first time that I ever went to any locals for FFTCG, I showed up and it was basically just like, okay, who's the guy who just, there was like a petite cup the weekend before. I'm like, who's the guy who won that tournament? And they're like, oh, it's that guy. And I was like, sick. And I sat down across from him and I was just like, can you just beat the shit out of me? I was like, just can you just play your best things against me? I need to understand, and I need to understand fast. Like, can you just kick my ass?
Yeah, I definitely took my lumps when I started playing, just getting to learn everything.
JR saying, I agree, it's why I fully support testing with and against top 8 decks, so I know both how to play it and with whatever the hotness is. It's how you come up with stuff like Ice and Crystals, because you figure out the meta and what those players are thinking. Yeah, I will say this. There is no version of me playing that Dancers deck that I took last year to qualify that works at all if it wasn't starting from a foundation of like a deep study of what was doing well and what people were playing, right? Because like if I run that in the world where people are all just using summon removal all the time, like it's not nearly as effective, right? It requires it's like a deep understanding of what is good and what people are doing and why it's good, and then attacking that. Which isn't always the best strategy either, right? I mean, sometimes the reason that people are doing a thing and the reason it's good is just because it's that good. But I think that for me anyway, that's a fun way to go about deck building. So that's how what I am doing. So Greg is, I mean, one thing about this mid Previa deck, Brett, is it kind of, you just windmill slam your hand on the table and then you like hope it works. So I think we're seeing a little bit of what it looks like when it doesn't work. We got there, right? We got our pieces, but now our opponent is just like, they're built up and they're out aggressing us, and we only did 2 points of damage. Like it feels like everything's falling apart here for the mid Previa deck. We didn't really get any like lasting value out of our big crazy start.
Obviously, you know, the EX Lightning taking off the Witch of the Fens did not help.
I mean, that's the second time we watched Greg run straight into an EX. That it kind of reminds you why you don't do things like throw your whole hand on the table turn 1, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that's, you know, what, it's been like 2 months since I've been on with you. You know, I took a lot away from our conversation about, you know, attacking isn't free.
Attacking is not free. It's really hard to internalize that.
You know, it's just something I've been thinking about a lot when playing. You know, sometimes, you know, I've done it and I'm like, oh, I attack, and I'm like, oh, attacking's not free. And my opponent's probably like, what are you mumbling about? But
I mean, it sounds silly, but like you think of something like that, and then like somebody says it to you, right? And then you start actively thinking about it. And the difference between actively thinking about something like that and not is sometimes just your awareness of it, or sometimes just somebody like bringing it up or saying a thing, right? Now you're in a position where you're already better, right? Because now you're thinking about it. And before you maybe weren't even weighing that option, right? Like the fact that you're stopping for a second to think like, oh, is this like, should I? Right now you might not have gone, you might not be zen enough to actually not be attacking when you're not supposed to yet, but at least you're thinking about it. And I'll tell you, I'm not making fun of you for that. Like it's hard, bro. It's hard to be looking at a free point of damage and what feels like you are in the position turning the corner and to identify that you can't attack and to not attack. Like, that can be really difficult. I actually want to say, you asked me if I watched the stream. I don't know what game it was, but there was some game that I watched this last weekend where I was impressed by someone not attacking at a time where they definitely should not have attacked. Again, that's not specific enough at all for me to tell you the game or for you to go watch it and be like, oh, wow. But I remember, like, it was like a clinic on, like, why not to attack. Actually, it might have been... It might actually not even have been this event. It might have been KP's finals. But there was something, I don't remember exactly, it was something where I was watching it. Oh, maybe it was KP had like a LQ. It might have been in Spanky's LQ. But there was some stream match I was watching, and somebody had like a free attack and didn't take it, and I was like, that guy is smart. That's why they're gonna win this game, because the worst thing that could have happened right there is they barely like get this together and then they attack and their guy gets like a bing Thornton, you know?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, imagine what the difference between drawing Thornton and getting Thornton for free. Like sometimes you don't even want to play it. Even you desperately, you always want.
Big cost.
You always want the best card in you know, to search your deck for any card. You always want that. You want to search your deck for any card 100% of the time, right? But how often do you want to pay for Thornton to do it? Really infrequently. So, you know, not only do you not give them an advantage, you actually screw up their next turn. Like, you could sit there and think to yourself, like, if I attack and it is a Thornton, I, like, super lose. And if I don't attack and it is a Thornton, I, like, super win. You know, like, that, like, oh, okay. Then maybe I should take the chance on not attacking. Now, I mean, that's... Some people can, you know, you can take that too far too, right? And like never attack. Sometimes you need to know and like you need to be able to win the game by a certain number of turns. Like, hey, you're only gonna have so many turns left. You need to start putting some damage on. You need to like, you know, or you have like 5 more turns to deal 6 damage. Like you gotta really think about the calculus on that stuff sometimes and sequence your hits. But yeah, in general, I think a lot of people could benefit from like taking a deep breath before turning a character sideways. I'm glad that you've been thinking about that, man. I'm happy that some of my rants and ramblings rub off in a good way.
No, they definitely do. I mean, I like everything, you know, like we talked about, you know, tonight, just playing, you know, against other players, tuning into the live streams, you know, participating in stuff like this. Like it all just builds and builds on how you play.
Well, I will say this. This is a corny quote, and I believe it's an Arnold Palmer quote, but he says, "I find the more I practice, the luckier I get." You know, because it's really one of those things, man. The more time you spend doing it, the more you practice, you're just better. You're just gonna be better. You're gonna be more likely to put yourself in a position to get lucky, right? Because you're playing better and you're playing to your outs better. Like, so it might seem lucky, right? But it actually might just be because you've been making tight decisions for 15 turns, right? It's like a lot of those types of things are, there's really no substitute for practice and like deliberate practice. And sometimes practice doesn't just mean playing a game of Final Fantasy TCG. Like sometimes spending time like practicing your game knowledge is like watching a stream and thinking about what play the guy's going to make and then seeing what they actually do and considering the difference between what you thought they might do and what they did and why they did that. Right, like those types of things are really valuable thought experiments, and nobody's ever going to put you in a situation where you do that unless you like deliberately go do that, right? Like no one's going to give you homework
Yeah, no teacher out here.
Yeah,
Assigned homework.
no one is invested in you getting better the way that you are invested in you getting better, right? So if you're not taking the steps, then you shouldn't expect anything to change. And some people are okay with that. That's fine. But I don't know. Don't you like to win?
Yeah, I mean,
I like to win.
Some people want to push and get better. Some people just want to have fun. So it's all what you want to get out of it.
Well, that's exactly it, right? We're not here to tell anybody what's right or the right way to have fun or enjoy the game. You don't pay my sub, but I am certainly. We've always pushed it here on the channel. Like our goal here is to connect players who would otherwise not be able to connect to each other to just play more games of Final Fantasy TCG, because the world needs more games of Final Fantasy TCG to happen. Just as a baseline, the humanity needs more games of Final Fantasy TCG to be happening. But our goal here is to improve ourselves and everyone who tunes in to stream a little bit every week. That's our goal. I'm here practicing my game knowledge, and I'm practicing my commentary just the same as I'm suggesting you go do it. And this is the way that I've chosen to do it. And maybe you can come along with me, and you guys watch this every week, and maybe that's the way that you're doing it, right? I don't know. It's the Cloud song. Oh shit! It snuck up on me. It snuck up on me. I'm switching. Oh no! I need another Final Fantasy one, not Persona. There we go. Okay. Although I will warn you guys, when Persona 4 Remake comes out, we're probably going to be listening to a lot of Persona music, because I can't help myself. But yeah, I mean, so I would say even tuning in to stream on Wednesday and engaging with this content is going to give you a leg up on the people who aren't. Even if you're watching some nonsense mid-Previa decks, there's still things to learn. There's still things to watch and look and talk about.
Definitely.
And also, guess what? When somebody windmill slams a mid-Previa against you one day, you'll be like, huh, I've seen this.
Been here before.
Yeah.
So this back and forth over here has been quite interesting. I know we've been kind of off topic, but
yeah,
NBM's not doing a ton of NBM stuff. We've got Cloud and Irving as our forwards, but I thought that Xavier was in a good spot. But they're
I think he's still in a really good spot.
It's true. I mean, he's got the 3 backups to Greg's 0 backups, which
well, look at it this way. I think we're looking at the table and we think, oh, like, I thought this would be going worse for Greg, right? It's actually going horrible for Greg. It just is like deceptive in how it looks, right? The fact that my man Greg has spent all of this limit break that he's spent, and he has dealt 3 damage to the opponent. Remember, we've actually, so here's time to shameless plug another article. We talk about who's the beatdown on here sometimes. At the beginning of this game, see, Greg wants to be the beatdown, because that's what his deck does. It shits out 5 guys on the first turn, right? But what actually happened was Greg got his dudes removed, and then a hasted Irvine started swinging. So what actually happened really quick was Xavier is beating down Greg, right? But Greg is like, the only way that my deck goes is fast. It only beats down, right? So these guys are fighting for the roll right now, which never works well for the guy whose deck only does the roll, and he's not that roll, right? Because what's about to happen right now is we're going to watch Greg lose his turn. And there's not really much he can do about it, because he has no cards. He has no backups. He has 1 card in his hand. The forwards that he has on the field are limit break forwards. The limit break forwards are good, but here's the thing about, I think most limit break forwards, it's not true of something like Lil Leela, right? But most of them come down, they have a powerful effect, and then that's it. They're done, right? A lot of other forwards that we're playing in our decks, like Balthier, Irvine, these other cards on the table, they do a lot with both when they come in and in the future. So it's not that the limit break cards aren't good. Their strength is that they're always available, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that he has to play all these on the field, it looks like he's doing a lot of something, but he's actually establishing nothing of meaning, nothing of value, right? And everything that he's removing of Xavier's going to be able to pay to bring it back and pay for another thing, because Xavier's got 3 backups. Whereas Greg's only going to be able to pay to deal with the thing and then have nothing left. So over time, this only goes one way, right? Xavier his board gets wider, and he just keeps pressuring Greg. And so what Greg really needed to do is I mean, I don't know how many EXs are in his deck, right? Again, it's very, very difficult to pivot off of Beatdown in a deck that is built to being like Windmill Slam and 9-drop on turn 1 go, right? Effectively, if you have a deck where you're investing that hard in being the Beatdown and then you're not, like, you've already lost. And basically, we lost the game when Lightning EX happened, right? It's unfortunate. That's just how invested we were in our board, and that's how fucked up it got, right? It slowed us down a lot. It made it so that we didn't have the forward pressure. It made it so that next turn when Xavier played 2 forwards, when he played the Cloud and somebody and removed one of our forwards, we didn't have any blocker, even though we felt like we were kind of going to have a wider board. Now all of a sudden, I thought I was the aggressive guy. I hit him one time, he EX blew up my guy, and now he's hitting me in the face. And then right when you were talking to me kind of about how, like, oh, it doesn't look so bad for him, Greg had only dealt 3 points of damage, and Xavier only needed to deal 2 more. And even though the boards were kind of close, if you look at the board and you try to think backwards from a win, and you look at Greg's board and you look at damage zone, and you think Greg has to find a way to deal 5 more. Sorry, he only was on 2 at the time. Greg has to figure out how to deal 5 more points of damage. And you're looking at the table, and I'll tell you what, it's not coming from these guys, right? Not into this board. So you're like, where the hell is he going to find it? How is he going to get there? How is he going to find 5 points of damage before Xavier does 2? He's just not, right? Like, not anymore. Not at this point. Not with no cards. Not with no permanents. So even though it kind of seems like he hasn't lost yet, my man lost like 5 turns ago, type of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, really cool stuff. I love seeing this mid Previa. I love seeing new fun ideas. I mean, mid is cool enough if he just hits 3 playable cards, right? But the idea of mid hitting 3 playable cards and playing 2 forwards when you send those 2 guys to the break zone, though, that is like every single neuron would be activated if that happened. I hope so much that Greg got to do that one time, whether when he was goldfishing or in the one game we didn't watch. I know that that's definitely the dream, so I hope he got to live his best life. Very cool deck from Greg. Love seeing more Water Lightning variants. But MBM took it this week, and I do think, Brett, that this is another one of those things. I think people like MBM. I think people think the tribal decks are fun. And then I think a lot of voices were telling people, like, it's cute, but it's not that good early. And again, people just want to be told, right? So then all of a sudden it does well, and people just say, like, this is good at one event, and now everybody feels like they're allowed to play it. Right? Like, so people who wanted to play it the whole time kind of were interested in it. Now they feel like there's like a positive feedback loop, like, oh, it is actually good. I knew it. I should be playing this, right? And I'm glad that now we're seeing more of that deck, because I do think it's a good deck. I think it has really high kill potential. Like, Balthier and Dual Element Lightning are 2 cards that just end games really fast. So I think it deserves to see more play. I think it's also an awesome entry to the game deck. Like, dude, if they can just make those 3 Dual Element Lightnings available in some near future product in an easier way for players, this feels a lot like when you used to point people to the Avalanche starter. People used to be like, I'm kind of interested in Final Fantasy TCG. You're like, great, buy this starter, go pick up 3 of these Barretts from the set, and you're good to go. And Barrett was the box topper, so he was like $5. You know?
Yep.
I think things like that are really good for the game. So I think MBM being as popular, seeing play, doing well, I think that's just good for the game and good for new players.
I mean, I know the only other like tribal deck I've lived through is probably like the 12, which wasn't that long ago, but stuff like Soiree was kind of the same feel back then. That, I mean, those cards
you look through
were,
tribal decks, you just don't think of them that way. Warriors, Knights.
But like, I mean, those you don't get like a complete set of those like in one set, you know.
Well, that's not what makes it a tribal deck, but yeah, you're right. You're talking about them being kind of like self-contained, like in-set synergies, like out of the box, kind of just add water type of instant deck mix. Yeah, I think that kind of stuff is cool a lot, for sure. Scions, Scions, they try to do those sometimes as like a thing, like they all come in the set together a lot of times. Science is a cool one. Chat, I'm just reading some of the chat's ideas. Avalanche, the 13 starter, Soiree, yeah. Guardians, when that starter came out, that was a really popular one to send people to. They do a really good job in this game, honestly, with non-blind product. So sorry, things where you know the entire contents of the box, like the set list is guaranteed, like a starter or a did like the Dissidia box or the World's Anniversary box, like those kinds of things. I think they're really, really well-informed products. Like, these guys are paying attention to the secondary market and printing targeted cards to drop the value on the secondary market to make the game more accessible to everybody. I think that's brilliant. So,
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for us. Thank you for listening to me ramble with a guest this week for 2 hours. Brett, thank you so much for stopping by. It's a pleasure to have you. Please, shameless self-plug away. Anybody that you want to shout out, and of course, shout out the old site.
Yeah, so I appreciate you having me again. Loved it. Super fun being here with you. For those that don't know me, I do deal with the Final Fantasy trading cards. So if you're ever in the market for a sealed box pre-release kit, one of those nice starter decks we've been talking about, let me know. Hit me up. I'm in the Discord and all the marketplace places. So
what is your name?
Highwind Trading is the trade name for the business. So
very cool, Brett. Well, thank you guys. If you check out Highwind Trading, Brett will take good care of you. So
for sure. Thank
you, Brett, for stopping by. Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in. We will be back. So Irving decided 2 days before the event that he was going to the California Materia Cup. So we did not have Coffee and Bullshit last weekend. He was on the Coffee and Bullshit road tour, was the joke I was making last weekend. He took his bullshit on the road. We should be back in action this Sunday. We've got some awesome submissions from you guys I can't wait to get to in the Coffee and Bullshit thread. But please remember, if you want us to play one of your bad decks on stream, post it on the Coffee and Bullshit thread in the Discord. Give us a little note about what the deck does and what the goal is or what the gimmick is, so we can make sure we do the thing. And we'll be here sipping hot coffee and playing hot shit Sunday morning with you guys. I see Irving in chat says we will be back this Sunday. Love that. And then next week, Wednesday, come on by and get ready for the Pittsburgh Materia Cup. I can't believe how fast these things are happening. Every other weekend, they're squished together, but it's a lot of action, man. So we've got the Pittsburgh Materia Cup. I will be there. I will see you there. If you are there, come say hi. As always, it's a lot of fun to talk to you guys and me and Jam. But yeah, that's it for us. Brett, thank you so much again. Anything before we sign off?
Good to go, Snugs. Thanks, man.
Right.
We'll be back again for sure.
That's right. Thank you, everybody. Take care.